that is constantly evolving, progress seems to offer only two choices: to follow or to be left behind. But there is a third option: to lead, to actively shape and walk new paths, to rethink. At BayWa RE, we rethink energy. Renewable energy, wind power, bioenergy and solar energy are leading the way worldwide. Our mission is to make renewable energy even better, to constantly set new standards, and to develop fully integrated energy solutions. At BayWa RE, we rethink goals. We take responsibility, driving the energy transition that is changing our world. And we strive for the good of our clients, partners, and employees. We truly care for your needs. We rethink solutions. We keep reinventing renewable energy to stay one step ahead. Advancing technology, new business models, and finding new answers to old questions for our future. We rethink expertise. Throughout renewable energy, with a comprehensive portfolio of services, supporting our clients in every possible way and letting our know-how pave the road to their success. We rethink business, building strong relations with our customers and offering tailor-made solutions across the entire value chain. Clean energy is the responsibility of a generation. Let us join forces to actively shape the future. Let's get together and rethink. BayWa RE, Renewable Energy.
Using solar power is good for the planet. But when you combine solar with natural gas, that's doing good all the way. Solar power has zero emissions, while natural gas releases up to 60% less carbon dioxide compared to coal power. And it can quickly support solar power when there's no sun. Solar power and natural gas, the cleaner, better combination. First Gen, 100% green power, 100% good power.
In a world that is constantly evolving, progress seems to offer only two choices: to follow or to be left behind. But there is a third option: to lead, to actively shape and walk new paths, to rethink. At BayWa RE, we rethink energy. Renewable energy, wind power, bioenergy and solar energy are leading the way worldwide. Our mission is to make renewable energy even better, to constantly set new standards, and to develop fully integrated energy solutions. At BayWa RE, we rethink goals. We take responsibility, driving the energy transition that is changing our world. And we strive for the good of our clients, partners, and employees. We truly care for your needs. We rethink solutions. We keep reinventing renewable energy to stay one step ahead. Advancing technology, new business models, and finding new answers to old questions for our future. We rethink expertise. Throughout renewable energy, with a comprehensive portfolio of services, supporting our clients in every possible way and letting our know-how pave the road to their success. We rethink business, building strong relations with our customers and offering tailor-made solutions across the entire value chain. Clean energy is the responsibility of a generation. Let us join forces to actively shape the future. Let's get together and rethink. BayWa RE, Renewable Energy.
Using solar power is good for the planet. But when you combine solar with natural gas, that's doing good all the way. Solar power has zero emissions, while natural gas releases up to 60% less carbon dioxide compared to coal power. And it can quickly support solar power when there's no sun. Solar power and natural gas, the cleaner, better combination. First Gen, 100% green power, 100% good power.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of the Philippine Renewable Energy Virtual Conference 2021, powered by ACES. I am your
Okay. Picture on this, huh?
We would like to thank the Department of Energy and their speakers
We
as
would
Coordinator
like
E.
to
Dalola,
thank the
Mr.
Department of
Michael
Energy
O.
Lola,
Cruz,
Mr. Michael O.
Mr.
Cruz,
Jordan M. Balyaran, as well as their
Mr. Jordan M. Balyaran, as well as
we would also like to thank our diamond sponsor, ASIN, our platinum
their
sponsor, Bewa RE, Solar Systems Corporation, Huawei, our gold sponsor, First Gen Energy Solutions Incorporated, our supporting associates, SunGrow Power Supply, Berkeley Energy Commercial Industrial Solutions, Solar Candy Philippines Corporation, Optimal Inc., and Prime Asset Ventures Incorporated. We would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our event partners, the Senate Committee on Energy's Chairman, the Honorable Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Philippine Green Building Council, Construction Industry Arbitration Commission, Philippine Chamber of Food Manufacturers Incorporated, USAID, and Arthaland Corporation. Very special thanks to our official media partner, Power Philippines. For information about our partners and sponsors, you may scroll down the webpage and click on their logos. Now, to commence the second day of our virtual conference, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce a public servant whose impeccable work ethic and tireless dedication to serve his country made him one of the most hardworking lawmakers in the Philippines. As chairman of the Senate Committee on Energy and Committee on Economic Affairs during the 17th Congress, he steered both committees with a goal in mind to protect and empower the Filipino consumers and support small and medium businesses to generate jobs. He strove toward the passage of several key measures aimed at fostering a competitive, investor friendly, and red tape free environment in the energy sector and in the Philippine economy. He has successfully steered the passage of pro consumer legislations that have been signed into law. Among the laws he has authored are the Murang Kuryente Act, Electric Cooperatives Emergency and Resiliency Fund Act, Energy Virtual One Stop Shop Act, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act, Anti Obstruction of Power Lines Act, Philippine Innovation Act, Community Based Monitoring Systems Act, Islamic Banking Act, and the Mobile Number Portability Act, wherein the consumers now have the freedom to change their mobile numbers without the need to change mobile service providers or subscription plans. His bills under the Energy Committee, the extension of lifeline rate subsidy in electricity bill for low income households, had been signed into law on May 27, 2021, while the LPG Act, which aims to remove unsafe tanks from circulation, was enacted on October 14, 2021. Another bill that he authored, the Microgrid Systems Act, which seeks to accelerate the full electrification of all households in the country, is now close to becoming a law following its ratification on November 9, 2021. Indeed, his commitment to genuine public service continues to drive him in pursuing his promising vision of a better Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored and truly pleased to present to you the Honorable Senator Win Gatchalian.
Thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction. Thank you very much. Before I begin, let me greet our dignitaries and guests for this afternoon. Let me greet Mr. Julian Cordero of CL Phoenix by Events. Let me also greet Robert Limhoko, Miss Divina Ching Chuan Ko. Let me also greet Junrei Castro. And let me also greet Engineer Choi Suspene. And last but not least, my good friend, the ever active and ever present, actually, because I always see her in events, Miss Ruth Yu Owen. Let me also greet all the other participants here and all the other important organizations who are here with us this afternoon. So again, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this virtual conference, and what a timely event, because we've been talking a lot about renewable energy in the committee and what are the constraints that led to what are the other constraints that we need to address in order to further grow renewable energy in the country. But let me just discuss with you 5 reasons why renewable energy is a viable energy source in the Philippines, and there are a lot of factors that led to this conclusion. And let me just share with you my slide. Just organize here. I call this presentation PHRE 5 Reasons, and I understand that we have a lot of foreign participants here today and a lot of potential investors in the field of RE. And yes, RE is a growing sector in the Philippines. In fact, it's a sector that the government and the legislature is pushing to grow further. I mentioned earlier that we have identified some constraints, but we also have identified 5 reasons, among many reasons, no? But we have identified the top 5 reasons why renewable energy is a sector that investors should invest in. And let me just go through it one by one. And before I continue, let me just give you a snapshot of where we are in terms of generation mix. Half of our generation comes from coal, 17% comes from gas, and the rest comes from renewable energy. So for a Southeast Asian nation, in fact, we are quite, our share of RE, no? Almost 30+%. It's quite significant compared to our other Southeast Asian nations, but we still aim to grow this over time. No? So just to give you an idea where we are in terms of our energy mix, and these are the reasons. In the next 20 years to 2040, we will need 66,000 megawatts of additional capacity. Now, the Philippines is one of the fastest growing nations in the whole world, growing at around 4 to 5% every year. Of course, the pandemic slowed us down a lot, but my personal view of the pandemic, this is a temporary occurrence, and we will go back to our normal economic growth. Our fundamentals are very healthy, and once that we have overcome this pandemic through massive vaccination, we will once again go to our normal 4 to 5% economic growth on the average. So we will need approximately 66,000 megawatts. Take note of that. And half of that can be powered by renewables. This is the breakdown of potential renewable capacity in the Philippines, as you can see, and divided into the different renewable energy source. In sum, we have 31,000 of potential renewable energy source in the Philippines. Of course, it can be unlimited if you take into consideration solar and wind, because solar is unlimited and wind is also unlimited. But they have already identified several areas for good potential for solar and wind, and this will come out around 31,000 megawatts in total. If taken to ocean, it can be unlimited too. No? But ocean, of course, is still in its infancy stage. No? So this is the potential of in the Philippines. So another reason why renewable energy is an attractive energy source is because of price. No? And I will simplify this slide. Just take a look at the black line. Black line is coal. No? And if you compare existing coal-fired power plants, that's on their left, to solar PV and to wind, that's the yellow and blue lines, it will not intersect. So meaning existing coal-fired power plants are still cheaper, no? Because they're depreciated, they're already existing. But if you compare it to new coal-fired power plants, it's already at parity at this year. No? So if you see the black line intersecting with the yellow line, that means new coal-fired power plants, if you build one right now, it will cost as much as solar utility scale PV. The same with the blue line, which is onshore wind. If you build a new coal-fired power plants, it will be at parity around 2025. So prices of wind and especially solar is going down tremendously. It's already at parity with new coal-fired power plants. Another reason is we have one of the most robust laws in renewable energy. In fact, we have the whole gamut soon. No? We have a robust renewable energy law. We're close to approving our electric vehicles and charging station law. In fact, this morning I just came from a technical working group, and before end of the year, we'll be approving the electric vehicles and charging station law. Already approved our energy efficiency law. We're now in the midst of implementing that. We also have a green jobs law. This green jobs law basically is encouraging companies to invest in renewable energy to create jobs. And we're close to approving our microgrid system law. This will be approved within the year also. So we have very robust laws in renewable energy. The fifth is the Department of Energy has already declared a moratorium on new coal-fired power plants. This is a welcome development, especially in the discussion of the COP26. Of course, this needs a lot of details, but it's a good initial trigger to signal that the country is looking very seriously in phasing out coal. My take on this is we need to already jumpstart our energy transition strategy. This is only one facet of the energy transition, and I will be filing the country's first energy transition bill, itemizing the process of discussion in the energy transition and also the timetable on when the energy transition will start and, of course, hit its goal. So I will be filing that soon because the moratorium is just one facet. We want to make sure that in the quest for a cleaner future and a quest for a cleaner grid, we need to make sure that it's executed through a transition, not by piecemeal pronouncements. But this is a good trigger. This is a good signal to the energy sector. What we have done so far in the legislature, I mentioned that we already have the renewable energy law, the green jobs law. We also enacted the energy virtual one-stop shop to cut red tape because building renewable energy takes a lot of process. Like, for example, if you're interested in building hydro electric power plants, that takes a lot of process. So with the energy virtual one-stop shop, we managed to cut red tape. Energy efficiency, I said earlier that it's already being implemented, and I encourage everyone to look at this law. I won't go into the details, but the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act, which Ruth is an expert on, aims to promote energy efficiency and conservation in the country and to businesses. And I also mentioned that electric vehicles and the microgrid systems proposal will be enacted before the year ends. So these are the bills that we have enacted so far. So just to give you a snapshot to those who are looking at renewable energy in the Philippines, we have RA 9531 or the Renewable Energy Act of 2008. This is a very good law. It has a lot of incentives, both fiscal and non-fiscal. And it has a lot of mechanisms to encourage renewable energy. So just to give you an idea, these are just some of the fiscal incentives under this law: income tax holiday, duty-free importation, special realty tax rates on machinery equipment, and so on. So I encourage you to look at the incentives because this will definitely lower down the capital expenditure and lower down the barrier of entry for renewable energy. The same with non-fiscal incentives, all the mechanisms like the feed-in tariff, net metering, RPS, both on-grid and off-grid, renewable portfolio standards, green energy option, and so on. So a lot of these mechanisms are being implemented right now. Some of them are still a work in progress, but we're pushing government to implement all of these mechanisms so that investors can take advantage of these mechanisms. And again, lower down capital expenditures and lower down barriers to entry. Because of this law, you can see that grew in the country from 2015 all the way this year, and it's a good law, and it has managed to attract investors in the renewable energy space. I'll just want to show the audience some of the projects that benefited from this law. In my city, Valenzuela City, we have what we call the urban solar farm. Proponent was awarded feed-in tariff, and he built this huge solar farm, about close to about 10 megawatts in the heart of the city. Solar farm is not confined to the countryside, but this is a very efficient solar farm because it's right smack in the middle of the load center, which is Metro Manila. So you don't need to build so many transmission cables to transmit electricity. Of course, the Guimaras Wind Farm, one of the latest of the country, a very successful project. And just some examples of multi-purpose or multi-use hydropower plants that serve as irrigation systems as well as hydropower plant that generates electricity. So this is one of the more successful or the most successful multi-purpose hydropower plants in the country. The country is also looking into increasing batteries in the country. This is the battery owned by AES, now San Miguel. San Miguel has gone into the battery technology space, and they're looking to build batteries all over the nation, both for frequency response as well as for electricity generation. So this technology now is coming to our shores, and companies are also looking into increasing its share in our grid. So I mentioned earlier energy efficiency conservation. I do encourage everyone to look at this law, but basically it has fiscal incentives. It's going to mandate energy performance standards for buildings, for businesses, and it will even mandate energy performance standards for consumer goods. So in the future, we'll have consumer products with labeling, describing which are the products that are consuming a lot of electricity and which are energy efficient consumer products. We're very close to approving the electric vehicles charging, but not only the ecosystem but the industry. So it will now mandate the rollout of charging stations in the country, but also encourage manufacturers to come in and set up shop here in the Philippines. This is a growing sector all over the world, and we want our country to participate in the growth of this sector. So I encourage again everyone to look at this law. Some of the examples, this is a electric vehicle that our Senate co-op purchased, and it's currently being used right now. Of course, in the Philippines, tricycles are popular, and this model is actually quite prevalent in the Philippines. And electric minibuses also is a good very popular modality in the Philippines. Microgrid, this law will be enacted before the end of the year, and we still have approximately about 1.4 million households which do not have electricity, and to reach them by grid extension costs a lot of money. No, so we enacted this law to promote microgrid system with prioritization in the use of RE. No, so we plan to reach total electrification in the country by using modern technologies such as microgrid. And in this law, the aim of this law is to encourage the private sector to come in. No? So we simplify the process, we prioritize private capital, and we also prioritize renewable energy in the rollout of microgrid systems. Again, encourage everyone to look at this law. I won't go into the details because it's quite a lot, but just to give you an idea that we have this law, we will have this law soon in the country. This is a microgrid system, one of the most successful microgrid system in Palawan, in Sabang, Barangay Sabang. And as you can see, they're supplying a barangay in Palawan. This is an investment by Tokyo Electric and Greenergy of Singapore, and very successful. They brought in batteries, but it's a hybrid technology because they also have diesel just as a backup, but it's purely run on solar and batteries. And this is the vision that we have for the Microgrid Systems Act, and hopefully this type of technology will be the way to bring electricity to the countryside. And we plan to electrify 100% of our homes in our country. So again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope that I have enlightened and encouraged potential investors coming to our country. And renewable energy is the way, and we have all the mechanisms, the laws, and the motivation to go in and expand renewable energy in the country. So hopefully look at this space, and again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Senator Win Gatchalian. We are deeply grateful for your precious time this afternoon, sir. And I do believe that our beloved senator is open for some questions. If our webinar attendees would like to ask some, kindly type them in the chat box. Senator, if you will allow me to read the questions for you.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. The first question is from John Kenneth C. Tugade. Good PM, Senator. May I ask, the constructor installed the Valenzuela solar farm? Thank you. May I ask
Who is
perhaps that's
the
what he
proponent?
meant. Yes, the constructor who installed the Valenzuela solar farm. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not owned by the local government of Valenzuela, but we made it happen by giving incentives, giving exemption on land use, and making sure that it's sustainable. It's a very interesting project, and I encourage everyone to look at that because it's right smack in the middle of this city. And it's only one in Metro Manila. So if you are going to sell electricity to Metro Manila, the generator is actually in Metro Manila. But it's also located in the touristic area of Valenzuela and the fish pond area of Valenzuela. And we have to manage it harmoniously. making sure that the solar farm will not destroy the natural scenery as well as the livelihood of the people there. So we had to, it was a very participative process. We encouraged the residents there and the people who live there to suggest on how to make the development harmonious, and we managed to do so. And it's not only generating electricity, but it's also creating a lot of attention, because people can go there and look at the solar farm up close. People can go there and learn about renewable energy. So it's not only producing electricity, but it's also at the same time educational, because a lot of our people don't know about solar farms. So it's actually a place where people can learn about renewable energy. As to who is the proponent, I don't have it at the top of my head right now, but they're definitely one of the first few proponents who received the FIT program.
Thank you so much, Senator. Very good. And I have another question here coming from Sir Ernel G. Amparo, Senator Gatchalian. How can we ensure that there will be enough baseload power generators, considering the fact that RE is subject to the whims of nature, such as solar and wind, with the exception of geothermal and to a less extent hydro?
That's a very good question. In fact, that's a question that I get from the audience a lot. No, it's a very tricky question. Yes, solar and wind are susceptible to weather, and of course, in growing the economy, we don't want our economy to indirectly be susceptible to weather. Two things: solar and wind has been quite the technology surrounding solar and wind has been improving quite a bit in terms of forecasting, and there are a lot of software and analytics now that can be used to forecast, bringing stability to the generation of electricity by solar and wind. So forecasting technology and forecasting tools is one way, but another way, and I mentioned earlier, is I believe in energy transition, and in the adoption of solar and wind, we need to balance it also with a reliable source, and one of the fuel that we are promoting in the Philippines is the use of natural gas, because it's flexible and it's cleaner, about half the emissions of coal. So having said that, in this talk about transition, some of it will be variable RE, and to balance that, we need to use flexible fuels such as natural gas. But technology will evolve later on. Batteries will become cheaper. Batteries will probably eventually replace natural gas, and that will be the best combination. But right now, batteries are still quite expensive. The supply chain is still quite unproven on a massive scale. So in the meantime, while we are in the transition, let's use a reliable fuel, which is natural gas, to balance it.
Thank you so much, Senator, for your generous response. And here's a question from Spike Alphonsus Ching. Hi, Senator Gatchalian. May we ask if there will be incentives specifically for housing projects that install renewable energy sources, such as solar panels on top of the roofs, use net metering, or can sell back energy to the grid?
That's a very good suggestion. No, there's none yet. No, there's incentives for utility scale, but not for house solar rooftops, and also for developers. But that's a good suggestion. In fact, I've received that suggestion several times from different proponents, and we're looking at that. But that's a good suggestion to encourage developers to use solar rooftops by incentivizing them. And I believe that rooftops right now, if you look at the rooftops all over the country, Metro Manila in particular, those are unused real estate space. Those rooftops right now are cost, no expenses for all of us, no? Whether you're in business or your residential or your homes, you have to maintain it every year. But just imagine those rooftops can be converted into revenue generation. And if you put solar rooftops there, then you can sell to the grid. No? Then in effect, your rooftop becomes a valuable real estate because you can now use it to generate revenue and to sell to the grid. That's actually my dream. It's quite expensive right now, but the prices of solar rooftops are already going down, and that's why we need to make sure that we encourage people to build solar rooftops massively. So yes, we're looking into that on how to encourage developers and even private individuals to put solar rooftops by way of giving them some incentives, whether a terrific price selling to the grid or fiscal incentives or others.
Thank you so much, Senator. It seems that our attendees cannot get enough of you, and the questions keep coming. So please let me know up to how many more questions you would like to entertain because um, well, we are so enamored and we would like so much of your time, but we know that you are a busy person. Here's a question from our media partner, our official media partner, Power Philippines. Senator Win, good afternoon. Francis here from Power Philippines. What timeline would you be proposing under the energy transition bill?
We're looking at just some of the future feature of the bill. Number one, we'll create an energy transition council because I believe that energy transition should be a whole of government approach. It cannot just purely be energy or cannot just purely be transportation or agriculture. If you look at the chart of GHG emissions in the country, a third comes from energy, and then a third comes from transportation. In fact, transportation is one of the leading causes of GHG in our country, and around 20% comes from agriculture and forestry. No? So you also need the Department of Agriculture to be there. So the first step is to create that council so that it will be a whole of government approach, and then in terms of target, the numbers that are floating right now ranges from 2040 to 2060. No? These are the net zero targets. So the net zero targets should be the targets for energy transition. Of course, it's a very dynamic target. We're still debating whether to put a target in the law or just immediately it will be mandated by law. The energy transition will be created by law, and the law will give the energy transition life and a mandate. No? So we're close to filing that. Hopefully, before elections, we'll get that approved. Hopefully, if we have time. But definitely, the whole world is talking about energy transition. Therefore, we should be looking into this institutionally, not just lip service, but institutionally.
Thank you so much, Senator Win. We truly look forward to the enactment of the energy transition bill. There's a very good question here from Nariel Bantay. Dear Senator, I just would like to know that with so many programs for power generation's efficiency, how come? I guess this is what the person meant. Yet the power cost is still high.
There's a caveat to that. No? The Philippines is the only country in Southeast Asia that is full priced, no? Meaning what we are paying right now is the true cost of power. Our neighbors such as Thailand, Malaysia, they all subsidize their electricity cost. Maybe us and Singapore are the only two countries that bill our consumers at true cost. Having said that caveat, no, there's still a lot of room to improve the pricing of our electricity bill. We already enacted the Murang Kuryente Act that reduced close to a peso in our electricity bill. You might not feel it, but the law reduced approximately about 19 centavos in our electricity bill by removing the stranded costs and stranded debts in our electricity bill. So if you look at your electricity bill, there's no more stranded costs and stranded debts. Those things will grow over time to approximately 90 centavos per kilowatt hour. So that's approximately a peso. So we have saved a peso in our electricity bill. But admittedly, there's a lot of room to improve. One way is through competition, invite more investors to come in, invite more foreign capital to come in. The more companies coming in and competing, the better for us consumers because prices will go down.
Thank you so much, Senator Win. And the attendees would like to extend their deepest gratitude to you for your generous time. And if you will allow me to ask one more question coming from our media partner, Power Philippines, is it also time that the DOE revises its forecast for power demand by 2030, considering inclusion of RE? 30,189 megawatts po yan as of 2016. But in the PEP, binabato sa 29K. But kulang pa rin po raw yung 30K projection. Any thoughts on this, sir? Thanks.
If you look at the projections of, I read the PEP. I read the PEP every year, no, and in fact they've changed a few things in the PEP in terms of projection. No? There's now a clean energy scenario and a business as usual scenario. The projection is quite straightforward. No? It takes into consideration economic growth, population, technology changes. And for example, what is the cost of batteries in the next 5 years? What is the cost of solar in the solar panel, solar PVs, photovoltaic in the next 5 years? Will hydrogen be cheaper also in the next 7 years? All of these technological changes are not taken into consideration. So meaning we're not maximizing the injection of renewable energy because we're not looking at the technology changes and the pricing changes in that technology. And that's why you'll be very surprised why why the private sector has been bidding way below the price of fossil fuel in the country. We've seen 2 pesos for solar. We've seen Ayala Energy last time bidding a little bit over natural gas. You'll be surprised because these companies look at the technology and the cost of technology down the road. So, and they factor that in their bidding. So my point there is the PEP is straightforward. It can be improved by forecasting technology changes, and that's not we're not taking advantage of technology changes. So so you can actually use the PEP as your worst case scenario. No? The best case scenario is if you factor in technology changes.
Thank you so much, Senwin. And sir, kind sir, how many more questions would you like me to ask you? I think we have
Yeah.
100 here because we want to monopolize your time today. Just joking.
Well, if
Okay.
you if you have 5 more days, I can go on for the next five
Oh,
days. No,
you
just
are
one
truly
more, one
kind
more,
and generous,
Wag ano?
sir. One
one
more,
more.
sir.
Wag ano?
Okay, sir. I have a very good question, I think, from Sir Emmanuel Echevarria Enehosa. Is there a chance our Bataan nuclear plant to operate?
I get that question a lot. No, interestingly, I'll tell you a story. I went to the cousin of that plant in Slovenia. This plant has four cousins, or three cousins plus this plant. No? One in Korea, one in Brazil, one in Slovenia. All the same model, all the same make. In fact, if you look at them, they're exactly the same. No? The same supplier, Westinghouse. And to my surprise, no, when I visited Slovenia, the price of electricity coming from that nuclear power plant is no cheaper than the price of coal. So meaning with all the risk, with all the controversy, no? It's not cheaper than the price of coal in Slovenia. And the reason for that is because the plant is already old. No? Even though the plant is operating, but the upgrades, the safety modifications that they have to do, the regulatory compliance that they have to do, it pushed price up. And for obvious reasons, no? Because it's an old plant. So my point there is this Patan nuclear power plant is already old. No? And to put it back to life might not be economical. In fact, in an interview by the Russian ambassador, I remember, he said that some Russian nuclear company came here to look at that, and he said that the Russian nuclear company said that it's beyond economical repair already. If they do repair it, it's going to be very expensive. So the point there is this plant is already old, and it's going to be very expensive and uncompetitive when we do that. But I'm not discounting nuclear. There's a lot of new nuclear technologies now in being developed around the world. There's one called the SMRs, the small nuclear reactors, or small modular reactors. And these reactors are smaller, easier to deploy, and safer, because it's smaller. And those are the things that we need to look at. The talk of climate change includes the talk of nuclear, and you cannot separate that, because nuclear is emissions free. But we need to balance also the risk involved with nuclear. So the way to balance that is to make it smaller and to make it less costly. And of course, there's a discussion on the waste. Where do you throw it? There's also technology now that can reuse the waste up to a certain time frame or certain limit. But then again, at least you can use it than throw it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Senator Win Gatchalian. Thank you so much, kind sir, for extending your graciousness to us this afternoon. We are truly honored to have you with us. Mabuhay po kayo. And again, we would like to say thank you to our diamond sponsor, ASIN, our platinum sponsor, Biwa RE Solar Systems Corporation, Huawei, our gold sponsor, First Gen Energy Solutions Incorporated, our supporting associates, SunGrow Power Supply, Berkeley Energy Commercial Industrial Solutions, Solar Caddy Philippines Corporation, Optimal Inc., and Prime Asset Ventures Incorporated. And of course, our exclusive media partner, Power Philippines. For information about our partners and sponsors, kindly scroll down the web page and click on their logos. For more information about our official media partner, Power Philippines, Please check and follow their Facebook page. It's facebook.com/powerphl, or kindly visit their Power Philippines website at www.powerphilippines.com. And now, may I give you Power Philippines for a brief presentation.
What's it like to empower? It's the rays of the sun shining on solar panels that light up our homes in the dark. It's the breeze that propels wind turbines that keep businesses rolling. It's the water that flows through dams and gives life to communities. It's the heat that feeds us, especially in our time of need. It's the fuel that keeps our economy going. It's making sure that the energizing message gets to you. Empowering a community is about making things bright through spreading awareness, drilling for ideas leading to innovations, and initiating conversations that spark the nation. We are the wires that connect you to the sources of power and to the means of empowerment. We link members of the community to content that initiates discourse. We switch on and hope for meaningful exchanges, making the nation enlightened and empowered. We are Power Philippines.
Thank you so much to our official media partner, Power Philippines. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our next speaker to talk about enhancing energy security through private sector engagement. She is currently the chief of party for the USAID Energy Secure Philippines activity. She has extensive project and technical expertise, having served as a three-term chief of party spanning 16 years for three USAID Philippines projects. These projects focused on sustainable energy development, climate change, and clean energy, and economic resilience through a low emission development pathway. Under her leadership of the Building Low Emission Alternatives to Develop Economic Resilience and Sustainability project, USAID assisted the government of the Philippines in developing a cost benefit analysis of mitigation actions that the government can pursue to address climate change. This study became the foundation for formulating the intended nationally determined contribution committed to the GPH under the Paris Agreement. She also led the operationalization of critical incentives such as the feed-in tariffs and renewable portfolio standard under the Renewable Energy Act of 2008. She began her international development career as a regulatory and tariff specialist engaged by the World Bank, the Department for International Development and Asian Development Bank, working across Asia and the Pacific Islands. In addition to her various roles, she served as a member of the UN High Level Technical Working Group on Energy Access in preparation for the UN High Level Dialogue held in New York in September 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce to you Chief of Party USAID Energy Secure Philippines activity, Ms. Divina B. Chinquanco.
Good afternoon. I'm Divina Chinquanco. I'm the Chief of Party of Energy Secure Philippines. I'd like to give you an overview of what USAID ESP activity is all about. Energy Secure Philippines is a 5-year project amounting to roughly $34 million. Our overarching goal is to enhance energy reliability and security given the envisioned unified power system. We hope to achieve this by contributing 500 megawatts of additional clean energy generation capacity and mobilize $750 million in private sector investments. ESP has a grants under contract mechanism amounting to $7.5 million, and I hope to discuss that with you later on. We have three sub-objectives. Our first objective is to improve the performance of electric utilities. We're working with selected distribution utilities on this, looking at their reliability index, looking at their distribution development plan, and evaluating their power supply agreements. Our second objective is increasing the deployment of advanced energy sources and systems. This is the home wherein we want to demonstrate the global leadership of US in companies in the Philippines and across the world. Our third objective is empowering consumers, giving the last hooray for the Electric Power Industry Reform Act or the full implementation of the retail competition. So we are supporting all competitive selection processes, including green energy auction program, competitive retail activities, and hopefully supporting the resolution of ERC that reduces the threshold of retail competition to 500 kilowatts. ESP is working on a national geographic focus, but we are also working on selected pilot sites that we term as sites included under the Cities Development Initiatives of USAID. These are Batangas City, Tagbilaran, Iloilo City, Cagayan de Oro City, and General Santos City. We are also collaborating with selected economic zones, such as the Subic Special Economic and Freeport Zone in Zambales. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be working in Clark and the Cavite Ecozone with PESA. Our implementing partners are the Department of Energy and the Energy Regulatory Commission, but we are also working with other national government agencies and a lot of local government units. ESP is led by a consortium of members, and the primary implementing partner is RTI International. I represent RTI International in the Philippines. We are supported by local subcontractors such as Wise Energy, Full Advantage Philippines, Penwood Corporation, the Philippine League of Local Environment and Natural Resources, or PLENRO, and we are backed up by US-based consulting firms Chessie Enernex and Vital LLC. Our three objectives that I mentioned about, like the improving performance of electric utilities, increasing the deployment of advanced energy sources and systems, enhancing competition in the power sector, hopefully would collectively enhance the pillars that will lay down the foundation of the power sector. And these pillars are energy security, energy resilience, cybersecurity, technology and innovation, private sector engagement, and competition. As I mentioned a while ago, USAID ESP activity has a grants under contract mechanism, and we call this the Energy Evolution Challenge. Last September, we issued a request for applications focusing on three possible grants amounting to $500,000 each. So the first grant is working on advancing innovative energy systems in fish and agro-processing industries. We are looking at innovation. For all three grants that we are looking at, we are supporting innovation. Our second grant is focused on supporting portable energy solutions for the logistics chain of essential goods, meaning looking at efficiency of the logistics chain. It's either like for agriculture, for medicine, for health services. Our third grant hopes to work with the local government units in collaboration with the energy service companies that are registered or accredited by the Department of Energy. And this grant hopefully would help local government units to become more energy efficient. This slide presents selected technical assistance to both the Department of Energy and ERC. On the left side of the screen, these are policy initiatives that we are supporting DOE with. And the first one is the Green Energy Auction Program. Hopefully, we'll be able to implement or do the actual auction sometime early in 2022. We assisted the Department of Energy in drafting and developing the Green Energy Auction Design document. We are currently providing technical assistance in developing and drafting the terms of reference that we hope to be able to distribute by the end of this year. And the Green Energy Auction Program would be done through an innovative IT platform that we help DOE develop. On the consumer side, we are supporting also the full implementation of the Green Energy Auction Program. The Green Energy Auction Program is going to empower consumers, meaning giving the opportunity for consumers to choose that I want to be able to get green energy or be serviced to green energy means. We are also currently supporting the Department of Energy in the full implementation of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. So at the moment, we are supporting DOE in the development of a data management portal that would become the repository of data for energy consumption of very big industries, or what we call the designated establishments type 1 and type 2 under the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. On the right side of the screen would be selected regulatory frameworks or rules that we are working with the Energy Regulatory Commission. These are all designed to promote renewable energy and clean energy. So currently, we are providing technical support in the drafting of the rules on distributed energy resources. Likewise, we are providing technical inputs in drafting the rules on net metering for off-grid areas. We have discussed with the ERC how we're going to move forward on this, and this would be supported by US-based firms that have extensive experience in developing net metering rules in off-grid areas. We are also currently helping in drafting the cost recovery rules for the renewable portfolio standard, meaning what would be the cost of compliance to developers and how would they be able to recover it, assuming they are able to recover it moving forward. In the future, in the next few months, we hope to be able to help ERC in developing the regulatory framework for the use of electric vehicles and the establishment of electric charging stations. We will be collaborating with the Department of Energy to ensure that we harmonize the policy on electric vehicles and the establishment of electric charging stations with the regulations that the ERC would issue in the future. So USAID supported the establishment of an energy virtual one-stop system in the Philippines before. And this has been adopted into a law that was called the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop, or it was signed as Republic Act number 11234. An evaluation of how developers go through the process of building power plants reveal that sometimes it takes years for them to get permits, or takes so many signatures before they even have the shovel hit the ground. So USAID piloted this online platform that hopes to track and monitor where the documents of a developer are. And under the EVOS Act, developers now are given the opportunity to be able to monitor closely, and the EVOS actually mandated government agencies to streamline businesses, cut down transaction time, and leading to a lot of transaction costs being cut down on behalf of the private developers. We are implementing the tail end of the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop, and hopefully we would be able to integrate as pilots the local government units. And in the evaluation before, the LGUs actually was discovered to be the weakest link across the supply chain. So hopefully by next year, there would be at least 10 local government units that are integrated into the EVOS platform. The local government units have become the frontliners for so many policies, even before, like the Climate Change Act, and now moving forward, they have become more empowered with the passage of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act. Recently, the Department of Energy signed a joint memorandum with the Department of Interior and Local Government called the Guidelines for Local Government Units to Facilitate the Implementation of Energy Projects. USAID ESP is supporting the implementation and joint memorandum circular with selected local government units. Specifically, circular mandates the local government units to develop or pass the local energy code, which is a local law that provides a legal framework for the institutionalization and implementation of policies on energy-related concerns. So it is very important for the local government units to be involved in the development of its natural resources so that they are able to guide and provide policy for developers, especially the private sector, and work with the distribution utility that has the franchise area. So the Memorandum Circular prescribes a draft ordinance on the adoption of a local energy code for all provincial, city, and municipal LGUs. Basically, it is just a template, and USA ESP is supporting the selected LGUs to tailor fit the template into their unique circumstances on the ground. The circular also mandates that all LGUs are expected to comply within 90 calendar days from the lifting of Proclamation number 922 or the declaration of state of public health emergency throughout the country. Because of COVID-19, this circular has been suspended, but it would be implemented fully and all LGUs are expected to comply within the said 90 calendar days. So this slide basically shows how we selected local government units we're working with under the USAID DSP. We are guided by the principle of inclusivity and representativeness. So what does that mean? Our pilot LGUs can serve as models for different types of city, meaning it can be a model for a city, a model for a municipality in the country. So we're working now with highly urbanized cities, component cities, and first to sixth class municipalities. Hopefully at the end, we would be able to have templates that LGUs can model themselves with, assuming similarly situated LGUs in the first or sixth class municipality would be able to use the template that we developed for our LGUs now. So as I said, we want to be representative of various regions, such as, so we're working in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. However, we also develop criteria for selecting pilot local government units. And these include LGUs with existing or with planned hosting of power plants, meaning these are LGUs that are currently hosting power plants or are expected to host power plants. LGUs that have demonstrated increasing energy demand. That we look at LGUs with economic growth, future economic growth as an ideal pilot under the USAID. The selected LGU2 should submit a letter of intent. We want to make sure that you would really closely collaborate with us. You would find time. And to that extent, we hope that you would issue an executive order creating the technical working group. It's very difficult to work with LGUs if they don't have the mandate from the chief local executive to work with us. But the creation of a technical working group facilitates everything between the LGU and USAID DSP. So this shows where we are working across the Philippines. So we're working from the north to south. I think the next slide identifies all the 12 LGUs we are currently working with. So on the left side of your screen, This is the list of LGUs you'll be working with. We hope to be able to add more as we move forward. And on the right side of the screen basically shows the status of where they are now in the achievement of the local energy code. So out of the 12, there were 5 local government units that have adopted and eventually are expected to implement the local energy code. And we basically hope that current LGUs you're working with, Batangas City, Cagayan de Oro City, Santa Rosa, and Muntinlupa City, as well as Pagudpod in Ilocos Norte, would be able to like pass the local energy code too. We are supporting the Department of Energy in the full connection or 100% electrification of households as envisioned under the Philippine Development Plan. So we're working in Mindanao, and we hope to be able to identify small hydropower resources across Mindanao at high resolution. As you probably know by now, most of the households that are not connected or underserved are actually in Mindanao. So our activity hopes to guide energy planners and stakeholders in screening sites for potential hydropower generation, meaning while we are able to identify potential hydro resources, hopefully in the future we will also be able to guide energy planners on the best match for the community that are underserved and the kind of electrification strategy that needs to be done, whether you will be connected to the grid, you will be a microgrid, or you will be using solar power systems or individual household solar power systems. So this is the initial result of our activity with Mindanao Development Authority. So it is not surprising to know and learn that Mindanao is abundant in rainfall and has so many hydro resources. The yellow lines actually show potential hydro resources in Mindanao. However, our mapping can only be showing, or our mapping can only show those resources that have potential 10 megawatts and up. We believe that there are small power systems that can be used to provide energy or electrification to communities, small communities, even off grid, that do not have electricity now. So we're going to work on that moving forward. So as I mentioned before, our goal is to be able to contribute 500 megawatts of clean energy in capacity and mobilize $750 million from private sector investments. As I speak before you now, we are also holding what we call the first of a series of private sector finance webinars. And yesterday we launched our first day, and it's entitled Driving the Energy Evolution to Transformational Finance webinar. So this would kick off what we call our mentoring and coaching of the private sector. Actually, yesterday we held a B2B session wherein we were able to like have one-on-one discussions with potential power developers and selected banking or financial institutions, including the United States Development Finance Corporation. So on the right side of the screen, this is the distribution of potential RE power projects that we might be supporting with under our mentoring and coaching. We are going to like select, hopefully, power developers that would be able to like reach financial closure or commercially operate power plants before the end of USAID's. So as I mentioned, this is the first of a series of private sector finance webinars we're supporting under USAID. So next slide will show the focus of our webinar. So yesterday, we held the first session on green financing, green energy projects, meaning this is focused on renewable energy. And in the afternoon, we held transaction advisory services, but this was one-on-one between a potential developer and a banking institution. Today, in the morning, we focus on utilizing innovative financial technology, meaning fintech. COVID actually gave rise to very innovative fintech, and it can basically be used to assist energy efficiency initiatives. In the afternoon, as I speak, we are working with local government units, and we hope to be able to assist local government units in tapping their potential revenues, particularly now with the Mandanas ruling that actually provided a bigger share of national government revenues to the LGUs. And recently, the Department of Energy also empowered local government units to be able to utilize directly the benefits from the host communities, or what we call ER1-94 funding. As part of our support for the private sector, we also drafted and developed a compendium of equipment of suppliers and service providers in renewable energy and energy efficiency industry. So what is the compendium all about? Basically, it's like an inventory of providers of either equipment or services across the supply chain. So as of our last count, our first draft included more than 300 equipment suppliers and service providers. So the compendium basically identifies which would supply EPC, which are supplying solar power, solar panels, which are supplying batteries, or which are just supplying, service providers, meaning they're not providing equipment. And it also classifies equipment suppliers and service providers by country and by region. We work with renewable energy private developers in drafting the compendium, and we hope to be able to finalize this in the next, probably first semester of 2022. And we believe that it would be useful for the national government agencies, like, for example, the Department of Energy, or even the Department of Finance, or DTI, especially if these companies are trying to avail of tax exemption privileges under the different laws like the Renewable Energy Act and the Energy Efficiency Act. But most of all, I think this would be useful for developers, future developers who would like to get an idea of who are supplying this equipment and services in our country. Thank you very much for inviting me today. I hope there will be an opportunity for all of you or some of you to work with USAID Energy Secure Philippines in the future. Thank you.
So much, Ma'am Divina B. Chinquanco. And our message to all of our webinar attendees, if you have any inquiries or any questions for USAID, ESP, please do send a message to their email address posted here in our message box. You may write an email to Ma'am Divina Chinquanco uh, using their email secretariat at energysecure.ph. Okay. And once again, we would like to say thank you to all of our sponsors today. Our diamond sponsor, ASIN. Our platinum sponsor, Baywa RE Solar Systems Corporation. Huawei. Our gold sponsor, First Gen Energy Solutions Incorporated. Our supporting associates, SunGrow Power Supply. Berkeley Energy Commercial Industrial Solutions. Solar Candy Philippines Corporation. Optimal Inc., and Prime Asset Ventures Incorporated. We would also like to thank our exclusive media partner, Power Philippines. And please do take time to visit their websites by scrolling down our webpage this afternoon and clicking on their logos. And now, it is my delight to introduce to you our next guest speaker to talk about transition of Philippines solar rooftop solutions, a very interesting topic. Okay? Let me share with you something about our guest speaker. He is based in Manila and is the Director of Trade Business Unit for Southeast Asia region. BayWa RE is involved in the entire spectrum of solar industry ranging from project development, operations management, and is an independent power producer with an expanding energy solutions team. As a solution provider, BayWa RE is a leading global supplier in the solar distribution market and is a preferred partner for thousands of solar installers and contractors globally. Junrei joined BayWa RE APAC in May 2020. He has a regional role where he is responsible for the solar distribution business in Southeast Asia with active offices in Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, and expansions in new markets in the region. He has more than 12 years of extensive experience in the solar industry, having previously worked for major solar manufacturers and numerous utility scale developers in APAC and Middle East region. His experience ranges in engineering, manufacturing, business development, and management roles in the solar industry. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering, Electrical Engineering from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and a master's degree in Electrical Engineering from the University of California, Berkeley. My dear friends, may I give you the Managing Director of BayWa RE Solar Systems Corporation, Mr. Junrei Castro.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the kind introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, to all the speakers, the participants, the Honorable Win Gatchalian, and also the private sector and government sector, the sponsors and the guests, good afternoon. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak to you today. And as everybody know, we are one of the sponsors together with our partner Huawei of this event, and I'm very glad that all the attendees are participating in such a very important event where we discuss renewable energy future of the Philippines. So let me share my screen. And so the topic that was given to me is the transition of rooftop solar in the Philippines. So maybe I'll start quickly by giving you an introduction of who BayWa RE is, what are we doing in the Philippines, and then I'll move towards the second topic, which is the Huawei technology. When we say renewable, what are the solutions available for the private sector, for all the solar installers in the market to enable and act on what we have to do to change the way we are powered. And then on the last slides, or the last topic, would be the rooftop solutions in the Philippines. What is available for us, and how do we move forward? How are we able to support as well on this transition? First topic, I'll go through the introduction of BayWa RE. So BayWa, we are part of, we are a German company. We are headquartered in Munich under the umbrella group of BayWa. Under BayWa, we have different businesses. We started in the agriculture business, so everybody needs food. We are in the food business. We do a lot of trading of fruits and the vegetables. This is a very active business for us. So that is one part of the business. On the most right-hand side, you'd also see that we are involved in construction and building materials. So this is also an active business for us, specifically in Europe and also in certain parts of the world. In the middle part where we belong to the energy segment. Under the energy segment, we have the traditional energy as well, but the most active at the moment is the renewable energy sector, and that is where we belong. BayWa RE, RE means renewable energy. This is a quick preview of the company, and the reason why I wanted to show you this is because it's important for the audience to know the companies that they are dealing with. So the technology and renewable energy industry at the moment is booming, and it's really important to deal with a company that is financially stable. BioRE has been in the business for quite some time. And if you look at our financial stability over the past year, it is our key strength. In 2020, we've had a turnover of 2.5 billion euro, and that resulted to an EBIT of more than 116 million euro. Currently, we have more than 3,000 employees globally. But if you look at the company itself, the renewable energy segment of BioWow, we were only founded in 2009, but we are now present in 30 different countries. This is our presence in different parts of the world. As you can see, we are present in major cities with operational people on the ground. That shows you the vast coverage of the company globally. In Southeast Asia or in APAC specifically, we are active in different countries. Our regional hub is based in Thailand, where we are active in almost all parts of the businesses, from solar, wind, and other businesses as well. We are also active in Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and we have offices and activities happening in Japan, South Korea, and as you could see, Philippines as well. We are also present in all major cities of Australia, covering different aspects of the business. So what are we doing as a business? We are a diversified business. When we say diversified, if you look at the business entities within BioRE, we cover different segments. First is projects. We do a lot of development in terms of wind and solar. Up to now, we have already installed more than 4 gigawatts of capacity of wind and solar globally. We have a growing pipeline amounting to 14 gigawatts up to now, and that's still growing, and that's including different parts of the world. Second is we're not just developing, we also do services. We offer operation management and asset management of different portfolio. At the moment, we have around 10 gigawatts of assets that we are managing. At the same time, we also do IPP, and we are now working on different assets, prospecting for projects that we can hold in the long term. And the plan is to ramp that IPP portfolio to around 3 gigawatts soon. The last part of the slide, as you could see, we are also doing solutions. So solutions, what do we mean by that? We know that the energy transition is happening. We used to think of the solar as, oh, you buy things and you do it by yourself, right? This is how solar is thought of. And if you think about a few years ago, that's how when computer also started. If you remember, you used to buy a monitor, you buy a CPU and you assemble it and you form your computer. We think that in the future, solutions for solar is critical, that you will be able to access solutions directly and be able to install solar, not like a rocket science, but you could just, it can have easy access to these components and you're able to implement the projects that you have. So under solutions, we have two business entities. First is solar distribution. What do we do in solar distribution? What we focus on providing equipments to solar installers, to developers, to those companies who want to procure materials for their solar installations. And the second part of the business, we also do energy solutions. This is our tailored-made solutions for the companies in terms of PPA and the design of rooftop that they have. This is what we do. As you can see, BayWa is spanning different businesses. We are a very diversified business. This is a very unique approach. We are not just focused in solar, we are also looking at wind, but at the same time, we are also covering different businesses within solar industry. BayWa is not just, of course, talking about renewable. We are acting on it. And in fact, our goals are backed by the UN Sustainability Framework. So we have chosen 7 UN SDGs, which is priority for us and something that we have been focusing on over the past years as well, and in every day of our work to make sure that we are able to deliver on the SDGs that we have chosen. So this embodies the core business of BayWa and also is the same values that we share with our customers and our partners. Since most of our audience are private businesses, businesses who are also having their own manufacturing, who are looking at, who owns probably commercial sites, I'd like to show you a simple example of how the corporate renewable is striving over the past few years. You look at the list of companies who are a member of RE100. I am also proud to say that BioRE is part of the RE100 company. And these are the companies who have committed to offset 100% of their energy use to renewables. What are the key drivers of this? First is the low cost and stable renewable electricity. It's just that when you have your own solar installation in your commercial establishment, you are secured for the energy supply that you have. As you can see in certain countries, specifically in Philippines, everybody is having issues in terms of supply, and that is not healthy in the long term. Second is the corporate sustainability commitment is also critical in front of your customers, in front of your partners. We are also seeing a rising expectations of concrete action about climate change. Recently, the COP26 has concluded, and one thing that for me is very important on that is that those are all discussions. Where is the actions? And I think the audience within these conference are critical to realize actions and to definitely act on the change in terms of how do we power our businesses. Second is there are also pressure on supply chains. So there are changes on regulations we are talking about, and some countries have already implemented the carbon tax offset, for example. And these are things that will happen in the future. So to act now and to make sure that we have that in place from a business perspective is very critical. If you look at the list of the companies here, they are requiring around more than 220 terawatt hour of energy per year. This is only 200 multinational companies. And if you put together the businesses in Philippines to come together and form a group to say we want to change the energy perspective in the Philippines, we can do much more. So I think this means also that the action needed could be coming from private sectors. These are the multinational, these are the different agencies, and I've seen that yesterday there were some discussions about the different groups. How do we measure that? So these are just few examples of multinational corporates who are committing to ambitious greenhouse emission reductions. We as BayWa, we are very proud to say again that we are a member of our E100 energy companies. So what does BayWa do globally? We, on the distribution business, have presence in different parts of the world. We have more than 600 employees at the moment in the distribution business. We have served and have continually serving more than 10,000 customers worldwide. We do more than 130,000 deliveries globally. We have tons of partners to work with us. If you look at it from a volume perspective, the PV modules we have sold spans more than a gigawatt in 2020. And inverters that we have sold to our customers are more than 2 gigawatts. We have a stocks and inventory, which is critical in terms of implementation. As you could see in the past few months, we had issues in terms of supply chain. We have an active warehouse in the Philippines to be able to serve you your requirements. And we have also active warehouses in different parts of the world. one thing I also wanted to point out is we have a very professional team in the Philippines to help you and serve you on your requirements, spanning from the product that you need, technical support, commissioning, and also site commissioning. These are examples of the customers that BayWa RE have served globally. These are just a few of the list. And we have also worked with different companies in terms of PPAs. So in APAC specifically, it's a growing amount, but we have more than 95 megawatts of PPA signed. These are some of the examples of businesses that we have powered through renewable, both in the commercial and industrial segment, and also the utility scale. So on the CNI side, we've done recently the Philippines 600 kilowatt peak Viscase project. I'd like to move towards the technology side. Huawei. We and Huawei have a very strong partnership, and we value this. Huawei is a technology leader in different businesses. And we might think of Huawei as a phone provider, but most of you also would know that they are very active on the renewable energy business. BayWa RE is a distributor of Huawei solar products in the Philippines, and we bring this technology to all our customers. I'd like to discuss a little bit about how Huawei technology would be key for the solutions and the transition of Philippine solar moving forward. Huawei as a company is very reputable. They have continually grown over the past years and has been continually growing. And the main thing on the growth of Huawei is they have continually invested in terms of research and development. So if you look at the next slide, this is some of the investments in terms of research and development that Huawei has allocated for their business. If you look at it's basically putting 10 to 16% of their revenue into research and development investment. And it's expected to have more than 100 billion of investment in terms of research and development in 10 years. Why is this very important? Because solar is still a technology that is growing. And there are still a lot of things that we need to improve in terms of solar deployment. And one thing that we have to be very careful is we should know that we are dealing with a very reliable company, a company that invests in technology, and that's exactly what Huawei is doing. If you look at the graph on the right-hand side, this is in euro, in billion euro, but Huawei is number 3 in terms of R&D investment, even bigger than Apple or Volkswagen. That's how technology is treated by Huawei. And this investment in R&D also covers the solar and renewable energy development that they do. The way things are powered are changing. In the previous discussions, there were discussions about power security. How do we ensure that the base load power is enough? And one thing that is very critical in the future, and where consumer will also change, is the way power is connected. Power will be digital in the future. And this is the forefront of the development that Huawei is doing. Investing in different digital power technology to connect the power sources in the future. This is covered by different aspects of the business. First is the information and technology. That's also an investment that Huawei is doing. Over the span of the pandemic, you've seen the way technology has changed our lives. In the normal days, we would have done this conference physically, seeing each other face to face. But now we are doing it virtually. And it's not just that. A lot of things has changed. What that means is technology is becoming even more important. That means that the need for power is also even more critical. That's also where investment of Huawei is going forward. Second is we are looking at renewable energy, and renewable energy are different aspects of the business. We are talking about utility, rooftop, residential, energy storage, and even electric vehicle in the future. That's also a key focus of Huawei, where we put all the investment moving forward. And that also includes all the small power conversion material that Huawei is continually investing. So Baiwa is a distributor of Huawei. We bring this technology to you. That is our expertise. Huawei does the technology development and the R&D investment, while Baiwa brings this technology to the consumers. There were also a lot of discussion about string inverters. This is becoming a key product moving forward. There are a lot of advantages about string inverter, and if you look at the 2020, string inverter has taken over the market share globally. Why is this important in solar? Because solar is supposed to be and is designed to be a distributed generation energy. I have to tell you that I've worked in the utility space for quite some time, working for large scale utility projects. But there's not the happiness that you would feel if you see a 3 kilowatt or 5 kilowatt residential powered and being independent of the grid is much more satisfying than powering a 500 megawatt or a gigawatt of utility scale. So that's where string inverter is becoming very important because it's very easy to deploy. The warranties, the management is also much better, and the efficiency is also much better compared to traditional central inverters. In Huawei, they focus in different aspects of the business. Again, residential PV solutions. This includes home energy storage. This includes monitoring system as well. Commercial and industrial for large scale rooftop applications, and definitely utility applications as well. So Huawei has different technologies to cover different aspects of the business. In the Philippines, Huawei is present in BGC, that's their main office. They have been established in the Philippines for quite some time, and has a very strong presence in the market, not just in the solar, but also in other businesses as well. So 86% or more than 80% of the staff in the Philippines are local. This is the service part of Huawei, which is becoming very critical, especially in the solar side, because we need to make sure that we are able to service you. So we have different service and spares management location in the Philippines. So I'll move to the next topic, which is the rooftop solutions and how are we able to support you in terms of the transition in the Philippines. So why is this becoming more important? First is for any businesses, for any commercial establishments, it's showcasing your commitment towards sustainability. So that is very important in the perspective of your customers and partners. If you are committed, you have to do it. And the renewable energy installation in your rooftop would be a key differentiator as well against your competition, because you are doing what you are saying, you're acting on it. At the same time, this also enables you to have a much better perception from your customers. You would see a lot of products as well in the market who are branded that they are made out of clean energy. And it's becoming a trend in the future and would also become an advantage for any business in the future. Second is the cost of electricity and the cost of solar is becoming more competitive. Installing solar in your rooftop would also ensure your competitiveness moving forward. And this also gives you security in terms of power in the future. Second is there are policies, as what the speakers have previously mentioned, who will be putting benefits towards those who are using low carbon emission sources. So it's a matter of when these policies and when these benefits could go into the consumers. The regulatory changes as well are directed towards supporting renewable energy. So that would be also a key advantage for us moving forward. So to act now would actually be a great action for you to ensure that you are prepared for the future. In BioRE, we offer different solutions. We also we have a solutions team who look after rooftop PPAs. In Philippines specifically, we are very active in terms of delivering equipments to our customers. At the same time, we are also open to different approach in terms of rooftop PPA, solar leasing in the future. But at the same time, we have various partners on the ground as well. Again, this is an advantage that BIWA brings because we are covering the entire spectrum of the renewable energy business. In this time when we are investing in solar, it's very important that you are dealing with someone very reliable and reputable. And that is exactly what BIWA is able to bring on the table. We first bring technology access. There are a lot of advancement and technology changes that would benefit your project in the future. That is the key reason why we have partnered with Huawei to ensure that we are able to bring the latest technology for your business. We support innovation. As a German company, we believe on innovation heavily, and the solar industry is still going through innovation. The energy storage business, the battery storage business, has been going through a lot of changes in the past few years, and this is something that we are able to support you. Second is we are also a full solution provider. We provide not just the equipment, but we provide a full solution that fits your business. And it's very important as well that you deal with a company who is not just doing a short-term business, but is looking after long-term quality as well of the products that we are selling. BioRE, as a locally established company in the Philippines, could assure you that the product we sell have gone through stringent quality testing and qualification by the company. And second, is very important to have proactive customer support. We have local team on the ground to support you in different aspects of the business, and this is even becoming more critical, specifically in the situation where travel restrictions are implemented. And this is an advantage that BIWA is able to bring for all the installers, EPCs, and developers on the ground. And what is even more important is to deal with a very financial stable company. And BIWA having a backup from our headquarters and has been operating for quite some time is a very financially stable company. This is a very critical consideration when you are considering to procure products or to engage services for your future project. That ends my presentation, a very limited time for me, but I would encourage everybody to follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn, or visit our website, or directly send us your inquiries for anything that we could support you. We are located in Makati, our office is here, and we have a full team to support you on the ground. I'm also open to questions if any. I just wanted to show you some of the projects that we have completed as well. So for your reference, these are some of the sites that we have completed in different parts of the world. And many more, but happy to take any questions if you have.
Thank you so much, Mr. June Ray Castro, the Managing Director of BIWA RE Solar Systems Corporation. And let me reiterate what Sir June Ray said. He is very much open to questions if you have any. Oh, I believe we have a question here, sir.
Happy to.
Okay. Please allow me to read them for you. Okay. Wait a minute, sir. All right. Let me clarify, Sir Emmanuel. Is this question for Baiwa? Oh, yes, I think so. Is the solar panel cells, or can the solar panel cells reduce the heat transmitted by the sun to our Mother Earth? If yes, how? Kasi they are saying na taas daw ang init ng Earth that resulted to climate change.
Well, what the solar does is we absorb the energy from the sun and convert that to energy. So basically, just hitting the ground, we are converting that into electrons that becomes a source of energy. So the sun still hits the surface of the earth, but we are using of that unlimited energy source for renewable energy purpose.
Thank you so much, Sir Junrei, for responding to that question. We have another question here from Von Kenneth Bagador. In nuclear power plants, uranium, some of them, are to be settled and stored in an ultraviolet protected pool as their material recovery, and they can reuse it for about 10 to 20 years. How about in solar panel
Mhm.
hazardous materials disposal or management, such as the thin film and silicon photovoltaic cells processing? How can you balance this for our environmental safety? How can we consider the environmental impact in processing or creating solar panels? Thanks.
Yeah. So if you look at the solar panels, the good thing about solar panels and the technology applied in solar is that they are already operating in long for panels are spanning 25 years to 30 years. So you wouldn't need to dispose them after the warranty is over. So that's a long time for you to be able to make use of the equipment. Secondly, a lot of the materials that are being used in solar installations are recyclable. You have aluminum, you have copper, and there are also a lot of programs and companies and businesses who are ensuring the disposal of these equipments towards the end of life. So unlike most of other energy sources, this is something that we can recycle and we can use for other purposes.
Oh, okay. Oh, hi, sir. Thank you so much, Sir Junrei. I hope that answers your question, Sir Vaughn. Okay, are there any more questions? Okay, there's a message here from Sir Arnel J. Amparo, but I believe it's also to answer the gentleman's question. Any more questions for Mr. Junrei Castro? Here, sir, from Mr. Gilberto G. Bagtas. Are the batteries used in the solar power system recyclable?
It depends on the technology that you have, but in most cases, yes. So except the old technology, the new technology is yes.
Thank you so much, Sir June Ray. Any more questions from our attendees? All right, we have a question here sent via text message. Do you have branches in Visayas and Mindanao, sir?
We have a team as well based in the south, and we are happy to support your needs on that. So I would encourage you to message us in the different platforms, or feel free to search us on LinkedIn or Facebook, or even send me an email. Happy to support you on your needs.
Much, Sir June Ray Castro.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much to Baiwa RE Solar System Corporation for your generous support.
Thank you.
And of course, we would like to say thank you to our event partners, the Senate Committee on Energy's chairman, the Honorable Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, the Philippine Green Building Council, Construction Industry Arbitration Commission, Philippine Chamber of Food Manufacturers Incorporated, USAID, and Arthaland Corporation. May, may we invite you to find out more about our partners and, of course, our sponsors for today and yesterday. As you scroll down the web page, kindly click their logos. May we also encourage everyone, and we'd like to remind you of our ongoing hashtag challenge that we started yesterday. Events would like to invite all of our webinar participants and viewers to join our hashtag challenge today and get a chance to win special prizes from our good and generous sponsors. Simply take a photo showing yourself while watching our virtual conference. Upload your selfie or group picture in Facebook and type the hashtag the Philippine Renewable Energy VC 2021, powered by ASIN. We'll be choosing the best uploaded photo at the end of our webinar, at the end of our conference. And we'll be sending a message directly to all of our winners. And of course, we would like to say thank you to all of our participants who have uploaded their photos. Kindly wait, and if your photo is chosen, you will rest assured you will receive a prize from a special prize as a token of our appreciation from our sponsors. Thank you. And now, okay, our next speaker, our next speaker will talk about renewable energy sector contracts and construction management. Engineer Pantaleon A. Suspene Jr. was born on October 22, 1956, in Hacienda Bagakay, Barangay Aranda, in the town of Hinigaran, province of Negros Occidental. He completed his secondary course in the year 1973 in Ibahay Academy in Aklan. He graduated in the college course in the year 1978 at Central Colleges of the Philippines in Quezon City with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. In 1980, he passed the board examination for civil engineers and acquired his professional license as civil engineer issued by the Professional Regulation Commission in Manila. In 1990 to 1991, he completed the second year course in the College of Law at the University of Manila. In October 2019, he completed a seminar on construction arbitration conducted by Construction Industry Arbitration Commission. He is a member of the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, Philippine Institute of Construction Arbitrators and Mediators, and an accredited construction arbitrator of the Construction Industry Arbitration Commission. His skills and specializations are documentation, contracts administration, construction management, project supervision, and public speaking in various seminars and forums, both in government and private entities. Since year 1978 up to present, his years of work experience is more or less 40 years with project involvement in cost estimating, management, and supervision of the following projects on various civil infrastructure and roadworks: irrigation facilities, waterworks and sewerage, concrete pile driving, flood control, dredging works, construction of multipurpose gymnasium, outside plant for telecommunication utilities, feasibility studies, detailed design and construction management for roads, bridges, and ports, land development for high-end subdivisions, installation of underground distribution system power line, construction of ramp, flyover, and tunnels, wastewater treatment plant upgrade, railway refurbishment, flood mitigation study and design. In year 2013 to 2014, he was involved in claims and construction management services for the rehabilitation of Los Palos to Tuala Road, repair and upgrading of police station facilities located in Dili City and the Democratic Republic of East Timor. In the year 2014 to 2019, he was involved in the quality management and monitoring services for the construction of 947 units PPP school building projects located in regions 1, 2, 3, and CAR. And in year 2020 to present, he was involved in the feasibility studies, master plan, and detailed engineering design for flood control, airports, and railway projects. During the pandemic period, he was working from home for the feasibility studies of various projects as freelance consultant on road networks, irrigation system, bulk water supply, and airport. As an accredited construction arbitrator, Sir Choi, as commonly known by his friends and colleagues, is also active in the construction arbitration cases of companies, entities in dispute as member of the arbitral tribunal under the Construction Industry Arbitration Commission, which includes, but not necessarily limited to, preliminary conferences, proceedings, hearings of parties in dispute up to the issuance of decisions and final awards. Ladies and gentlemen, may I give you Engineer Pantaleon Choi A. Suspended.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are presenting for this topic on contracts and construction management. And we would like to present this under my presentation materials. I am Pantaleon Choi Sispeño Jr., a civil engineer by profession and an accredited construction arbitrator of the Construction Industry Arbitration Commission. We would like to show to you the greatest quotation from the U.S. President, the 20th USA President. According to Woodrow Wilson, we should not only use the brains we have, but all that we can borrow. Today's topic is the renewable energy sector in adherence to the execution of its contracts and construction management. Renewable energy is a system that transfers energy from natural forces into electricity. These natural sources of energy never become depleted and can be harnessed for electricity forever. It includes wind, sun, hydro, and ocean tides, and so on. Here are the sources of renewable energy. The project components are apparently this includes the following: contract or agreement for the investors and proponent. There will be a project management like a consultant or an advisor. Then the construction of structures and system facilities. And finally, the operation and maintenance. The outline of my presentation are as follows: contract management, then the construction management. Here's the prologue for this. Technical people like us, engineers and project managers, normally rely so much to lawyers when it comes to the contract aspects of the project. More so when it comes to claims either on variation orders or time extension, matters which should not be all the case because we are more knowledgeable when it comes to the chronology of events in the project. Thus, this topic may somehow help us in gaining the momentum, being the self-infused paralegal person during the course of the project implementation. Let's go to the contract management. Contract management defined as the process of managing contracts, deliverables, deadlines, contract terms and conditions while ensuring customer satisfaction. Then contract is defined as a meeting of the minds between two persons whereby one binds himself with respect to the other to give something or to render some services. Contract consists of two sets of documents: the agreement and the contract documents. And this includes general conditions, specification, drawings, special provisions or condition, and the bid documents. The three essential requisites of a contract. One is consent. Two is the object. And three is the consideration or payment. Clauses or provisions commonly used or applied in contracts and in construction management. Number one is the extension of time. Contract time extension is based on the ability to demonstrate that delays have occurred in the construction schedule affecting project completion date. All valid time extension are due to delays beyond reasonable control of the contractor. Two factors of considerations are due to excusable delays incurred by incidents, and the another one is due to the force majeure event. The primary intent. It should be noted that the primary intent of granting time extension to the project are no other than the following: to necessarily address or remedy the incidents or force majeure, to enable the proponent mitigate or eliminate the probability of being penalized with liquidated damages under this agreement. Time extension requests are valid due to the following circumstances: legal issues, owner asks for a delayed start of whatever reasons, new item or extra work, unusual or adverse weather conditions, and the geotechnical issues, then the design change, the scarcity of labor, political intervention, the tribal war or cultural conflict, site conditions, materials adverse government action, and when delays incurred are considerable, excusable, or force majeure, which are beyond the reasonable control of the contractor or proponent. Supreme Court decisions on civil law. In year 2009, the Supreme Court decisions on civil law defined force majeure as follows: the matter of fortuitous events is governed by Article 1174 of the Civil Code, which provides that except in cases expressly specified by the law or when it is otherwise declared by stipulation or when the nature of the obligation requires assumption of risk, no person shall be responsible for those events which could not be seen or which, though foreseen, were inevitable. Force majeure issues and natural calamities like the following: floods, storm surge, tidal wave, earthquake, kudita, typhoon signal number 3 and above, civil disturbance, epidemic disease, massive labor unrest, rebellion, war, terrorism, delayed delivery of owner-supplied materials and or equipment imported or either imported or local. Once you have established the delaying events, time extension requests should be supported by a bar chart, schedule, or MS project showing the critical activities affecting the construction schedule. Number 2 is the request for work suspension order. It is typically an owner's directive that work be stopped on part or the whole contract or whatever events which are beyond contractor's control. Government directives due to traffic issues, presence and relocation of underground utilities, when it concerns for the general public safety, pending approval of the right of way, permits and clearances. Again, it's the force majeure event, the non-payment of progress accomplishment from the owner, the pending approval of variation order, pending arrival or delivery of imported materials or equipment supplied by the owner. Then the number 3 is the variation order or contract changes. Variation order is issued whenever there is a variation or changes to the contracted works. This may include adding or omitting work, increasing or decreasing the quantity of any work, changing the character or quality of any material or work. This further includes but not limited to extra additional work, price adjustment, non-bid items, overrun, underrun quantity, changes in design drawings, differing site condition, and so on. If parties requires approval and concurrence by the authorized contracting parties prior to the work execution, including cost, additive or deductive, incurred and time impact on the totality of the construction timeline completion schedule. There's a caution on this. It is imperative and mandatory not to start any work under a variation order without the following: an approval by the authorized or concerned parties, availability of fund, notice to proceed. Then the payment clause. This includes but not limited to the following: also payment claims due to the following: non-bid items, price adjustment, extra work, additional work, overrun, underrun quantity, standby or overhead pay. Then the quantum merit. Quantum merit is defined as the praise, literally means as much as earned. The right to sue on quantum merit arises when a contract partly performed by one party has been discharged by breach of contract by the other party. This right is performed not on original contract, but on an implied promise by other party for what has been done. Number 5 is the contract termination. Due to the default, financial bankruptcy, poor performance, breach of contract, force majeure. This requires meetings between the concerned parties. Documents as grounds for termination must be valid and sufficient in forms and in substance. Notice shall be served. It also requires concurrence between the concerned parties. The number six items is the liquidated damages. This stipulates that a certain specified sum of money will be payable by one guilty party to the other innocent party where there has been a particular breach of contract. And the seventh item is the arbitration. It is a settlement of a dispute, whether of fact, law, or procedure, between parties to a contract by a neutral third party or the arbitrator without resorting to the court action. The general principles of arbitration are as follows. The object of arbitration is to obtain a fair resolution of disputes by an impartial third party without unnecessary expense or delay. Parties should be free to agree how their disputes are resolved, subject only to such safeguards as necessary in the public interest. Court should not interfere. Fortuitous event defined as may either be an act of God or natural occurrences such as flood, storm surge, typhoons, or an act of man such as riots, strikes, or wars. The next item of this presentation is the construction management and beyond. It is defined as a synergy of construction know-how, time, cost, and quality, contract administration, technical skills, social engineering, business politics, managerial expertise, financial inputs, and project operation control. You should be aware also of your key results area. And this includes but not limited to the following: documentation, pre-construction phase, construction phase, and the post-construction phase. Documentation. Material that provides official information or evidence or that serve as a record. It is organized and must be traceable, handled by a qualified document controller. Second is the pre-construction phase. This includes preparatory meetings and submittals. The vital documents are notice of award, notice to proceed, and the contract or the agreement. This includes but not limited to the following: permit and clearances, bonds and insurances, bar chart with each card, cash flow and payment schedule per CPM, materials, manpower, and equipment schedule, construction methods or methodology, brochures, material samples, manual on test, procedures and testing, organizational chart, quality and safety program, shop drawings, testing and procedures, identify staging area and disposal site, pre-construction meeting, then the courtesy call to authority. The third one is the construction phase or the implementation stage. This includes mobilization, construction of temporary facilities or field offices. Two is the construction implementation, which includes but not limited to the following: conduct survey, prepare a stake quantity, which includes overrun, underrun quantity, submittals of documents. Then the conduct of the geological and geotechnical investigation. Then the three is the activities, work schedule, and priority items to be undertaken shall be in accordance with the approved bar chart and per CPM, plan drawings, specification, methodology. Then the regular toolbox meeting for safety and quality. Planning and strategy for operation, including the job hazard assessment. The weather chart updating, then the field test includes but not limited to the test pit, density test, and so on. Then the concrete mix design. It's the process of finding the proportions of concrete mix in terms of ratios of cement, sand, and concrete aggregates. Then the reports. This includes daily inspection report, incident report, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and it includes also materials, equipment, manpower, cost, issues and concern, then the problems encountered, also the cause and effect, and the recommendation, action plan, or resolution. And we have the in-house, the issue log, and weekly coordination meeting. It includes updates, issues and concerns, action plan, who is in charge. Then the 11th one is the revised schedule, catch-up program, and the balance of work to complete due to the following: revised contract amount, work suspension order, or the time extension. The 12th item is the monthly progress billing, and the required attachment are letter of request, billing statement, backup data, as-built drawings, progress photos, test results, delivery receipts, approved variation order, and time extension. Then the affidavit and so on. For the post-construction phase or the completion stage, the pre-final and the final inspection leading to the issuance of certificate of completion, the punch listing, rectification report of punch listed items, request for final inspection, signed final inspection report, the revised final construction schedule. Then we have this certificate of completion, which requires as-built drawing, test results, photographs, warranty bond. Then the request for final billing and release of retention also includes letter of request, final quantity, warranty bond, certificate of completion, photographs, test results, as-built drawings, inventory of work report, and also the affidavit. Then there will be a final certificate of acceptance, or the COPA, certificate of completion, rectification, to ensure the quality check. In conclusion, therefore, in construction, both in contracts and in the management of these projects, in this renewable energy project, it's very vital that there will be a total customer satisfaction. The paradigm shift in the construction world today, it is not only about the financial balance sheet nor a profit margin gained in the project. It's more of the entrepreneurial skill, good communication, and above all, it should be the total customer satisfaction that will prevail. This will be the end of my presentation, and thank you very much. Thank you for the participation of the audience. Bye.
Thank you so much, Engineer Troy Suspended Jr. And if you have any questions for Engineer Troy, he will be more than happy to answer your questions. Kindly send your messages and questions to troysuspended@ymail.com. His office is open to all your inquiries. Thank you. And once again, please allow us to say thank you to all of our sponsors. Our diamond sponsor, ASIN, our platinum sponsor, Baiwa RE Solar Systems Corporation, Huawei, our gold sponsor, First Gen Energy Solutions Incorporated, our supporting associates, SunGrow Power Supply, Berkeley Energy Commercial Industrial Solutions, Solar Candy Philippines Corporation, Optimal Inc., Prime Asset Ventures Incorporated, and our official media partner, Power Philippines. Please do visit the web pages of our partners and sponsors. You may click on their logos for more information. And at this point, I'm very pleased to give you our speaker for this afternoon, another speaker for this afternoon, to present achieving our sustainability targets and promoting clean energy investment. She has more than 20 years of experience in the field of renewable energy, developing wind power, hydropower, and solar projects. She is the president of Upgrade Energy Philippines Incorporated. She is a chairperson on renewable energy and energy efficiency of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, and also the vice president for internal affairs of the Philippine Energy Efficiency Alliance. Please welcome the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Chairperson of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Ms. Ruth Yu Owen.
Thanks for that. Let me just see if I can share my screen. Um, okay. Can't seem to find it, but if you keep on talking, we'll get there.
Hi, Mom Ruth.
Yeah.
Your beauty is so refreshing. Wow. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
being
that.
here with us.
Are you seeing my slide?
Yes, we can
Okay,
see you
thank
and we
you.
can see your slide.
Yeah, you'll just have to make do of this one, right? So, hi everyone. I'm Ruthie Owen. I'm, of course, as introduced earlier, I'm the chairperson of the ECCP. So, with over 40 years of existence of the European Chamber of Commerce, as bilateral foreign chamber has and continues to work towards promoting European interest in the Philippines. But we are quite active in the renewable energy space, especially for energy efficiency and renewable energy. So let me see. So what is our target in the Philippines, right? Our target is 35% RE by 2030. How do we achieve this? The contribution of the ECCP is forming a community called the REPH 100, which is an inspiration for from RE 100, right? So really, it's a community where renewable energy suppliers come together with consumers for corporate, micro, small, medium enterprises, and residential, for example, so that we create some knowledge and interaction, sharing to grow the RE community. Okay, so what are the Philippines' international commitment, right? We've committed a projected greenhouse gas emissions reduction and avoidance of 75%. And on the 3rd of November, the ADB, the Philippines and Indonesia launched the landmark Energy Transition Mechanism Initiative. So the DTI approved 199.2 billion worth of investments in the power sector in 2020. but we're projected and to target US dollar 121 billion of RE investment to meet the country's energy target of increased renewable energy share in the power mix. So what are the benefits of RE? Will it create jobs? Every dollar invested in clean energy transition provides 3 to 8 times in return. Spending on renewable energy and energy efficiency generate 3 times more jobs than on fossil fuels. So that more jobs, right? So RE reduces health risk and is environmentally sustainable, as well as poses more benefits in terms of energy access and cost. So if you look at the opportunity, the Philippines has been recognized as the second best investment destination for renewable energy in Southeast Asia, right? So Vietnam is top, and then the Philippines, of course. So there's a tremendous potential for RE. Next to us would be Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So there's a lot of interest for investors to come into the Philippines, especially with the COP26 commitments, right, to renewable energy, and we want to take advantage of that. So what's the way ahead? Achieving our energy targets. We want to formulate a sustainable energy mix policy to include probably energy efficiency, integrate Visayas and Mindanao grid, effective implementation of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act, and encourage increased investments in renewable energy sector. So if you look at this, right, the top 10 ASEAN power project completions in 2020, Vietnam has the largest solar farm, Malaysia's largest floating solar power plant, Thailand's largest floating solar plant. What does that tell you? There's a lot of projects happening in the ASEAN countries. So what is the way ahead? So we mentioned this earlier, but I think personally, all hands should be on deck. Everyone should be responsible for growing renewable energy. It doesn't matter if you're an individual, a company, having all this renewable energy potentials like wind power, solar power, hydro, biomass in the Philippines. We just need to tap them and you know, make sure that it works for us. There's a lot of that has been said earlier on this webinar already, so I would like to stop here and thank you for the opportunity. Back to you. Hello. Is it me or we lost the MC? Hello?
Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ma'am Ruth. We
Yeah,
are
sorry,
very
that was
pleased to
brief.
have you with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your precious time and, of course, your expertise on renewable energy.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions for Ma'am Ruth, we are very happy to forward your questions to her office. Correct, ma'am? Yes. All right. Okay. And again, thank you so much, Ma'am Ruth, you, Owen, and to the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. Okay, and once again, we would like to take this time to say thank you to all of our sponsors and partners. And to all of you who haven't uploaded yet or shared with us your photos of our virtual conference, day 1 and day 2, please do share them with us and get a chance to win special prizes from our good and very kind sponsors. Please include the hashtag, the Philippines, Renewable Energy. Once again, the Philippine Renewable Energy VC 2021, powered by ASIN. Okay? And let me say thank you to everyone, all of our sponsors, all of our event partners, our exclusive media partner, Power Philippines. Thank you so much. And to extensively say thank you to everyone, to all of our speakers and our webinar attendees. I'm very much happy to pass you on to our event producer, Mr. Julian M. Cordero. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jenny Singer, and I'm signing off. And here's our dear event producer, Mr. Julian M. Cordero.
In a world that is constantly evolving, progress seems to offer only two choices: to follow or to be left behind. But there is a third option: to lead, to actively shape and walk new paths, to rethink. At BayVa RE, we rethink energy. Renewable energy, wind power, bioenergy and solar energy are leading the way worldwide. Our mission is to make renewable energy even better, to constantly set new standards, and to develop fully integrated energy solutions. At BayVa RE, we rethink goals. We take responsibility, driving the energy transition that is changing our world. And we strive for the good of our clients, partners, and employees. We truly care for your needs. We rethink solutions. We keep reinventing renewable energy to stay one step ahead. Advancing technology, new business models, and finding new answers to old questions for our future. We rethink expertise. Throughout renewable energy, with a comprehensive portfolio of services. Supporting our clients in every possible way and letting our know-how pave the road to their success. We rethink business, building strong relations with our customers and offering tailor-made solutions across the entire value chain. Clean energy is the responsibility of a generation. Let us join forces to actively shape the future. Let's get together and rethink. BayVa RE, Renewable Energy.
Using solar power is good for the planet. But when you combine solar with natural gas, that's doing good all the way. Solar power has zero emissions, while natural gas releases up to 60% less carbon dioxide compared to coal power. And it can quickly support solar power when there's no sun. Solar power and natural gas, the cleaner, better combination. First Gen, 100% green power, 100% good power.
Good afternoon and warm greetings, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the event. In behalf of CL Phoenix and Events, we would like to thank you all for your participation and support for the Philippine Renewable Energy Virtual Conference powered by ASIN. We would like to thank the Department of Energy and their speakers, ASEC Redentor E. De Lola, Mr. Michael O. Sino Cruz, Mr. Jordan M. Balyaran, as well as their team. Also, our sponsors, Diamond sponsor ASEN and their speaker, Mr. Miguel G. De Jesus, as well as his team. Our platinum sponsor, Bayware, Solar Systems Corporation, and their speaker, Mr. June Ray Castro, as well as his team. Also, Huawei. Our gold sponsor, First Gen Energy Solutions Incorporated, and their speaker, Ms. April Joy de la Viña, as well as her team. Our supporting associates, SunGrow Power Supply Corporation Limited, Berkeley Energy Commercial Industrial Solutions, Solar Candy Philippines Corporation, Optimal Inc., and Mr. Raf Gastador, Prime Asset Ventures Incorporated. Also, our event partners, the Senate Committee on Energy's Chairman, the Honorable Senator Sherwin Gatchalian and his team, the Philippine Green Building Council, Construction Industry Arbitration Commission, Philippine Chamber of Food Manufacturers Incorporated, USAID, RF Land Corporation, and last but not least, our official media partner for this event, Power Philippines. Of course, our honorable speakers and guests for participating in the Philippine Renewable Energy Virtual Conference powered by ASIN. For more information about our future events, kindly contact us at our contact details shown in the screen. We hope to see you again in next year's edition. Thank you, everyone. May you all enjoy the rest of your day.